Oh yeah, baby, Airsoft World Heavyweight Champion back here again. It's been a crazy week because I had a birthday recently. I know it's summer out and everything, it's all nice, but all I want to do is play some video games and have some fun that way. Makes me reminiscent, makes me nostalgic, you know, all that sort of crap. Of course, you know, there's always people that want to rain on my parade or something like that. Now Jason, he's a cool guy, no, he gave me a cool birthday gift and everything. One thing about Jason is that not only does he hate my World Championships and hates me bragging about it, like this World Championship for Bounce Adventure. Jason Relaxation, he doesn't like Atari games either. If there's like a swap in Sudbury, Waterloo, Milton, Cambridge, we like to go to it. Yeah, we like to make a little cash on the side. But one thing he doesn't like to do is buy Atari games. I was lucky enough to find a lot of these games for cheap. Sometimes when people are selling at swaps, they have like a huge lot of Atari games, and sometimes they'll sell you a whole whack of them for cheap. Not all of them are winners, and like I can understand why some people would look down on Atari games because, you know, it's from a bygone era. I have a soft spot for Atari because if you look at me, yeah, I'm not the youngest guy out there. A lot of these games, a lot of people will just like throw them away, treat them like trash. Jason is actually smart in a way because he'll buy like the Nintendo games and maybe some popular Sega Genesis titles. He'll go for those. But with me, the Atari 2600 came out in the US in 1977, the year I was born. So yeah, that makes the Atari 45 years old, just like me. Yeah, the graphics, I can understand why a lot of people hate Atari because it's very primitive. Yeah, let's take a look down my pants. And look at this, I got a nice joystick here. Get a handle on this. Man, you only got like one non-stick here instead of the standard crosspad many people are used to, and only one button. Then again, yeah, it controls very well. You only got one button to worry about, so you don't have like 50 other buttons you gotta figure out. No, you're good to go. And you don't need to have any DLC programs. But how can I explain to people how awesome the Atari is? I know, let's do a top 10 list of the best Atari 2600 games out there, at least in my opinion, so maybe you too can get excited about Atari. I'm excited to see like other channels like Mel Jesus Rods and the Game Chasers. Yeah, recently the Game Chasers, they had an episode where they were down on their hands and knees looking through a whole bunch of cool Atari games, and that was awesome. Back on topic here, let's do a top 10 list of the best Atari games, at least in my opinion, for the 2600. Okay, let's do it. Okay, number 10. Are you ready to do some hunting? Because we got Jungle Hunt here, a Taito classic. Look at that, parallel strolling in the backgrounds, that's awesome. The Nintendo Entertainment System had trouble doing that shit. Oh shit. Oh. And it has lots of stage variety too. Jungle Hunt does a lot. And yeah, it technically has an ending too, unlike a lot of Atari games. You can actually save a girl and get some massive amount of points for it. And then the game loots after that, and it keeps on getting harder and harder. Just like a good game should. Definitely try this one out. You might be surprised just how good it is. Number 9. Are you ready to do some raiding? Because we got River Raid here. So as soon as you start up the game, it goes right to the action. You still have to be very careful though, because those fuel tanks, you can blast them too. But they also give you points, so yeah, there's a chance to get a perfect score in this game if you're good enough. But I just hope you have a few hours free. And you have to be very good at this game in general, because River Raid here is not easy. I don't know what this plane is doing, flying down narrow chasms like this, find a whole bunch of enemies, but hey, it's still fun. Yeah! Yeah, on a lot of 2600 games, a lot of the developers won't be mentioned on the cartridges, except for Activision ones, because they were actually former Atari employees that weren't getting the respect that they deserved. And we have here, we actually know who created the game, Carol Shaw. So yeah, this is actually designed by famous female developers, so that's pretty cool. I'm not here to judge a game because it was designed by a woman and everything, no. I'm here to mention, yeah, that this is actually a very good shoot 'em up. River Raid just has a lot of cool action to it. Number 8. I bet a lot of people know this one. Dig Dug here for Atari 2600. Okay, it's not a perfect arcade port because, yeah, we're talking about ancient 8-bit technology here from the 1970s. You wouldn't think that the Atari could do a decent version of Dig Dug, but I don't know, you might be surprised because there's actually gradients here so you can actually see some different colors in the dirt. It still looks pretty good. Yeah, it's blocky as shit, but the arcade action is still here. Alright. Come on, you assholes, come and get me. Yeah, it's still very colorful. There's still a lot of enemies on the screen at once. And when you move around, you still got the background music. I love it. Yeah, I don't want to do a review, I just want to play this awesome game. Yeah, crush it! If you bump it up to its main arcade difficulty, you're definitely going to have a challenge here because they knew how to really squeeze all those enemies on the screen at once. Definitely a good arcade port, and I just love playing this one again and again. Yeah, number 7 here, Boom Patrol. Yeah. Oh yeah, I just love this one, and it had nice color, good artwork and everything, but I was going in blind as a kid playing this one, but thankfully a lot of Atari games were cheap back then, so I was able to pick this one up for a few bucks, and I surprisingly liked it. You can adjust your speed, you can shoot in multiple directions, so much action. Not to mention, it's probably one of the best looking and sounding games for the system. It's a tough one though. Even on its easiest difficulty, you're still gonna throw a lot of shit at you. Oh, shit, no. Hey, it's a good game. Definitely try it out. And number 6 here, we got Asteroids. Atari had the very difficult task to port this game home because if you know the original arcade game, it was based on vector graphics. You know the Atari 2600 can't do something like that. Basically, you get a game with a whole bunch of blobs on the screen and you gotta make the blobs into smaller blobs. And yeah, you gotta use your imagination here. But hey, it's nice to see this game in color. But yeah, if you're familiar with the arcade game, yeah, this is pretty much just like it. Shoot the asteroids, they get smaller. If you shoot all of them, yep, you can finish the level. But they all come back again. But you still gotta be careful. Because they will eventually go to the center, and that's when you gotta do your special moves, like thrusting, turning, and all that cool shit. But it's best to stay in the center. Unless you're on the higher difficulty, and then, yeah, you gotta fly it around more and shit. So many different ways to play this cool arcade classic at home. Yeah, this game is very cheap too. Might even get cheaper than $5 here. Yeah, don't be an ass and just get some asteroids. Alright, top 5, yeah! We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Let's do some Berserk! Now I love going crazy with this one because all you do is shoot robots and not die. Simple enough. They'll shoot in multiple directions, they'll kill their friends by accident of course, and you just have to see if you can escape, get out the door, and make it to the next level, but you gotta keep on doing it. There's no escape, the robots are gonna get you, you're pretty much toast, so the only thing you can do now is get the highest score possible. Do 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 do. Yeah, if you get bonus points for killing all the robots, yeah, it's gonna give you a nice high score. Do do. You gotta exit as soon as you can because a giant smiley happy face will come and destroy you. Yeah, just like the original arcade game. But thanks to Atari 2600, you can add him out. Say you find him too annoying, I can wait here forever and that shithead won't come and destroy me. Yeah, it doesn't have the voices, but it's still a great port of the arcade game. Yeah, and just like Asteroids, this one's going to be another cheapie, so don't spend too much money on it. It's sold over 1 million copies, and it's awesome. Just because it's a cheap game doesn't mean it's a bad game. No, this one's very cool, very intense, very fun. Yeah. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be pissed off that I'm not including Pac-Man in the top 10, but if you ever played it on the 2600, you probably know why. Hey, it's not all bad news because look at this. I got the wonderful Miss Pac-Man here, which was pretty much even like a bigger hit in the arcades at least than the original Pac-Man. Like, I saw Miss Pac-Man all over the place in 1980s. You go to like a smoky bowling alley and boom, there's a Miss Pac-Man. If you get the Atari 2600 version, unlike the original Pac-Man, this is actually pretty good. Such a huge improvement over the original Atari Pac-Man. Cool maze design, classic Pac-Man gameplay is here. Yeah, basically, if you know the arcade game, this is very close. Let's see if we can get all the ghosts. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, you got the 4 mazes in there, great controls. You know, Miss Pac-Man actually looks up and down instead of like left and right. If you think a flicker is too bad, you can actually eliminate one of the ghosts. So you can have like 1 ghost on screen, 2 ghosts on screen, 3 ghosts on screen, or you can do all 4 like the original arcade. It's all up to you. There's so many options to this. Yeah, great controls, great graphics. It's all here. Miss Pac-Man, I think, saved Atari for at least another year before they finally kicked the bucket in 1984. Then they were brought to life again, then died, then brought to life, and now they're owned by Infogrames, and I think they went out of business. And it's a whole long story, but hey, Miss Pac-Man on Atari 2600, still awesome. Yeah, top 3 here. Yeah, being Canadian and all, I love me some bad bacon, and I also love me some cool frosty brew, eh? It doesn't get much colder than some Frostbite. Yeah, I even got this. Yeah, Activision was so cool that they actually gave you some badges here if you got a high score in one of their games. I don't think they'll do that for Call of Duty these days, but I think they got enough scandals to worry about. No, this is classic Activision where they cared about their developers and shit. Yeah, so this is what you gotta do. Jump on the white squares or rectangles or whatever. Avoid the birds because they're assholes. And create your igloo. Is this guy Inuit? I don't know. That'd be cool if he was, but I think he's just a standard white guy living in Canada. And once you create your igloo, you escape and get even more points. Now, it's not always going to be this easy. Yeah, when you get to the later levels, things get much faster. Yeah, and there's even an evil polar bear here. Great controls, great premise, great action. Frostbite here definitely delivers. I love the controls in this game where you can just jump on iceberg after iceberg and you can get a real cool rhythm going. Get really good at the game. Just keep on avoiding shit, eat the fish that you want to eat, and then create your igloo. It's very intense fun. Yeah, the cool thing about Frostbite is that you can actually earn a lot of extra lives if you're good enough. So even though you can die from 1 hit, if you got a lot of extra lives in reserves, you can keep on going, keep playing, and you can really get yourself a good score. And that's what it's all about, baby. Definitely a cool game, eh? I don't think they're gonna make a sequel anytime soon. If you want to get Frostbite, you're just gonna have to play the Atari 2600 or get on the compilations, I don't know. Alright, final 2. Now, yeah, we're getting to some cool arcade classics here because we got the original Frogger here. It was one of the final games released for Sega Genesis Super Nintendo. It was a big hit on the Sony PlayStation. Frogger is everywhere. Such classic music. Again, yeah, sometimes it's not all about the graphics and everything. Yeah, it's not arcade perfect. Who the hell cares? It's still fun. This is still Frogger. It's intense. You gotta worry about disappearing in lily pads. Traffic is always a problem. But it's great arcade action. there's just so much to worry about, but it gets so intense and so fun when you get in there and you're just racking up the points just by moving all over the place. Frogger is so simple. Yeah, even that jerk from Seinfeld likes it. Not the racist one, the other guy. Frogger is amazing, and it's a great port here on the Atari 2600. So what's number one here? Believe me, it wasn't easy to pick. Practice. I'll just show it to you and see if you agree or not. Space Invaders, yeah! Such an amazing arcade game. Yeah, and we freaking blew our minds when this game finally came home. Yeah, it was only like 2 years after it was a big hit in the arcades, and now we're playing on a home console here. Just when you think you're getting good, you're killing a lot of aliens. It builds up the tension, and if you're worried about getting shot too many times, you got some barriers there at the bottom to help you out. Okay, let's see if we can get that mothership. Oh yeah, it did! Get that fucking motherfucker ship. And time to just right. Hopefully I can kill him. Got him. And yep, they're a little bit closer to the ground now. So it's going to get harder and harder. And the thing, this is just one of the different game types you can have on here. There's so much variety to the Atari version of Space Invaders here. Just try some of those switches, see what you can do with the game. You'll have almost unlimited replay value here. Yeah, so why did I pick this one? Man, this is the game that made the Atari 2600 into a household name. Like when the Atari came out in the 1970s, it wasn't a very big hit because everybody was sick of these Pong consoles. There are a whole bunch of other game systems on the market, like the Fairchild app or RCA Studio 2, you know. What are gamers to think? And a lot of the games in the 1970s weren't too much fun because you had to use your imagination a lot, very blocky graphics. In the arcades, on the other hand, there was a huge hit called Space Invaders, and everybody loved it. It was this huge hit from Japan, came here in North America, and people went crazy for it. Yeah! Yeah, it was even on that 70s show. What made Space Invaders so cool is that it had that intense action. You had 55 aliens up in the air, you gotta shoot them down any way you can, because if they touch the ground, it's game over. It doesn't matter how many lives you got, game over. But everybody loved that intense challenge. Why don't we get the rights from this Japanese company and port this game to Atari 2600? And they ended up selling millions and millions of copies. And the Atari 2600 port, not only was it near arcade perfect, the aliens are actually easier to hit on this version. The net reason people might actually like this version over the original arcade one is that you actually get 112 different game variations. Say if you want to play on a higher difficulty, you want wavy missiles, you want guided missiles, you want to shoot invisible aliens, you want two-player support, you want like a fat ship or skinny ship. Another thing that makes Atari so awesome, all you have to do is mess around with some of those switches and boom. You think your game sucks, you mess around with the switches, boom, instantly better. Again, another cheap one too. So that was my pick for top 10 Atari 2600 games. A lot of those games I played recently just to get like a world record on Twin Galaxies. I think all those games I didn't even crack like the top 10 because some games I would have to play for like 4 days straight to get the world record, and I'm not gonna do that. Hey, it was still fun playing the games and I at least got on the leaderboards. Yeah, so don't be a shit-eating fuckhead. Play some Atari today, give it a chance. Some games on the Atari 2600, you might actually prefer playing those compared to the original arcade versions. Let me know your opinions out there. See if you agree, disagree. Did I leave a game out or something? I probably did, because this was an easy choice, believe me. That's the cool thing about Atari, that you've got 1,000 games to pick from. That's it for me. This is Arizona, World Heavyweight Champion, and the World Champion at Mega Mania. At least on Game Type 3. Over and out. Have you played Atari today?